My name is Devon Downs. This is Only Child, my solo show at the Rowan College of South Jersey. It's all about my mind, racing thoughts, challenging grief, approaching grief, accepting grief. The whole show is basically how I've gone about life. I think a lot of life can be learning how to handle losing things, like people and homes, situations, items. And the show is about the conversations you have with yourself to understand, appreciate, love on, and let go of all of those things. 3 years ago, my mom passed. Well, it hasn't been 4 years yet, but it's 3 years ago. My mom passed. It wasn't cancer related, but it was cancer related. Her brother, who was the oldest of my grandparents' boys, there was only 4, he passed 5 days after my mom. I also had to move out the apartment we were in. I had to rehome my dog. My aunt just passed last month. My Aunt Brenda passed 2 months after my mom. My Aunt Boo passed a month after that. My cousin Lumpsy passed that same month. So it was just a lot of things back to back. The house, the home, home as in like people and actual home. Yeah, all at the same time, within like 4 or 5 months. I take so much pride in like being like my mom. Like, I'm not a nurse and I don't do the same thing she did, and obviously I'm my own person, but I think my mom taught me a lot about like how to handle life way before things got really rough. And I'm no stranger to like hard times. Like, I'm black, I'm queer, I'm big, but I'm not super aggressive. I don't play football. I'm not like a manly man. I don't identify as a man at all, matter of fact. So all of those things just knock off like things to make your life a little harder.
How do you identify?
I am non-binary, so I go by they, them.
Right, so what does that mean for you?
It is, to me, and that's actually a piece in the show, so it's nice. So the they, them came not only because friends who I feel like were transitioning into becoming non-binary or gender fluid, but I always felt like, all right, I'm gonna word it and it will be a painting in the show that you'll see it, but I always viewed like my body as a prison. So I never thought like I was free, like I felt contained to this. Like, growing up, you know, when people say things like, oh, you're acting like a girl. So I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be in a girl's body. Or like, oh, you're too big to do that, or like, you're too loud. So I always viewed my body as something that wasn't something that brought me a lot of joy. I didn't even like my body until I turned maybe 19. And then I realized like, oh wow, and I didn't consider myself attractive until maybe 21. My style, hard to describe even now. I know it's realism, but I don't like photorealism. Like, I like to draw by hand because you get those imperfect like mistakes that make it look like it's mine. And that's what I like. I like when I can look at something and know it's mine. Like, even in the jewelry, I feel like I've developed like a way to stay true to myself and like what I want to do by just complimenting the things I'm trying to paint, whether it be a person, a building, an animal. I try to capture like the essence of like who or whatever it is, not just what I'm painting. Like, I'm not focused on making it super realistic. I want to get like the feel. Like, someone said this to me once and I knew it, but I never understood it until they said it. But they said sometimes they look at my artwork and it feels like it's vibrating. And I guess now that they put a word to it or a phrase to it, I get that. Like, it does feel like it kind of shakes or like hums. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I try to capture the essence of whatever it is. Like the story, like what is it about? I think the show is essentially all about memories. Holding on to the good things, making good things, honoring loved ones, honoring yourself to honor loved ones. Yeah, it's about learning you. Only Child is basically conversations you have with yourself to get to where you want to be, to figure out things about you, to figure out things about where you are trying to go, the things that are hard in life. It's about talking to yourself and talking to your ancestors and loved ones and honoring those things in your body and your mind to get through them.